Hi, my name's Ryan Williams. I wanted to talk about someone today that was very influential in my life. Uh, this person, he, uh, he didn't have much in the way of education. He grew up. Most of his education was, on the job type stuff. Uh, so that's kind of his background. He grew up poor, alcoholic parents. Just crazy stuff that went on in his life, and he was pretty rebellious when he was younger. Got in a lot of fights. All this. Um, Later on, he got married, wound up getting divorced, had a child, and that child turned out to be my mom. So this is my grandfather, and he uh, he actually uh, was a good family man. I remember stories about my mom turning like 16, and my grandfather was not necessarily involved a lot in her life later on, but teenage years and stuff just due to a divorce, and he was traveling and stuff all the time. But there was a story about him coming home for my mom's birthday, I believe it was, and just gave her a car. He rolled up in a brand new 1970 something Barracuda, and she said, "Oh, Dad, I love your car." And he was like, "Yo, you like that?" And she said, "Yeah." He said, "Oh, awesome. Here you go. It's yours. Happy birthday." That's just the kind of guy he was. But for a guy that didn't grow up, didn't grow up, didn't growing up in the church and stuff like that. He didn't have that. And what made him influential in my life is that he actually lived out principles while I was younger that are found in Scripture, which is really weird. But he didn't accept the Lord until he was on his deathbed. But he lived principles that can be found in Scripture for the whole time that I knew him. Uh, and he didn't attend church except for weddings, funerals, special occasions like that. But it was uh, it was really strange to talk to him sometimes and to hear his wisdom. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, and uh, don't mess around with a lot of women. Don't get drunk. Don't do all this stuff. And it was just really, really weird because I didn't find out till later on when I started reading Scripture that this stuff was in the Bible. So I go to him one day and I'm like, Granddaddy, how'd you get as smart as you are? I've heard your stories about when you were younger and just doing crazy things. And he said, well, it's just living, kid, just living. I had to live it out and did dumb stuff and you know everything. I said, well, are you a believer in God or anything? Did you? Because I never heard him talk about religion. And he said, well, I can tell you this. I don't believe we came from monkeys. I just if there's still monkeys, how did we come from monkeys? We should have evolved into they should have evolved into something else. So, that was kind of his answer on that until he, eventually accepted the Lord later on in age. But he was an incredible guy. And I asked him had he read the Bible or anything, and he said, "Oh yeah, I got a lot of sayings out of there. It's the greatest story ever told." He said, "There's a lot of wisdom in there." He said, "I'd recommend anybody to read it," which is weird because he didn't I asked him about God, and he was like, well, uh, I believe in something. I just don't know if it's the God of the Bible. Uh, and so that's kind of the background and on the person that probably made the most influences in my life. And I miss him terribly. And I know that he's saved, and I'm looking forward to seeing him again uh, one day, soon as the Lord gets ready for that to happen. So that's about it, and that's kind of a really quick background and everything on how I grew up and the most influential person in my life. There's a whole lot more to say, but I think we need to just end the video here. So thank you for listening.